Okay, we are back. I am going to try to be quieter because the audio is kind of being is getting muffled.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's break down some of these news stories over the past week here, starting obviously with Seth Rollins. And remember last week when we talked about the unpredictability of the main event of WrestleMania? Well, this probably just put a monkey wrench into it.
These are big injuries. These are not.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be able to wrestle through it. I mean, a torn ACL and a partially torn MCL.
That is what they're theorizing. It is not quite confirmed as of right now that these are going to be extremely bad injuries. Obviously, we're going to find out about this tomorrow, but I thought that we should start off with this story because this one was very much related to what we did last week about the main event of WrestleMania and how Seth Rollins was almost a guarantee to be an integral part of it. But now,
With
the
this injury.
situation looks to be extremely different.
Yep. I mean, this is guaranteed that he will not be defending this title at the Royal Rumble. There's just no way they're going to put.
Does he have a match at the Royal Rumble?
No, there was no match announced for Royal Rumble for Rollins.
So he's probably going to be taking at least that pay-per-view off.
I would probably say
we don't know. Like I said, we don't really know the extent of his injuries yet. Only he knows, and he is going to make an announcement on
Raw
tomorrow as to what the future of his title reign is going to be, essentially.
Absolutely. And it sucks because he has had a very good reign.
He has had a stellar year with this title.
I mean, wasn't he Wrestler of the Year from PWI this year
I
too?
think so.
I mean, that's how good he's been. And
then we were looking forward to this huge program that he was going to do with CM Punk. That was just going to be mwah. And now that's in doubt.
Yep. But here's my thing here. Because we don't know how bad this is, he could be fine for Mania. Now, how they're going to build this, it might be dramatically. It's going to be dramatically different.
It's going to be different, yes. Regardless of how bad the injury is.
Oh, and by the way, don't blame Jinder. I saw people blaming Jinder and his poor. Jinder did not do that bad of a job on the match, and two, it was from the lion salt. He landed awkwardly on his knee. It was 100% an accident. So let's calm down.
Yeah. So, but it's definitely going to change the way that the next couple of pay-per-views are going to be booked for sure.
Yep. Because Rollins is such a big part of not only Raw, but probably in their Mania plans.
And the other thing too that you have to understand is that Rollins was the workhorse world champion. Reigns was meant to be the special attraction.
Yep.
So how are you going to reconcile those two? Are you going to kind of coerce Reigns into doing more matches, like more world title defenses, to kind of compensate for Rollins no longer being able to perform at the level that he has, at least for the next couple of months? Or are you going to vacate the title? Or are you like what is the situation? Because obviously we really don't know what WrestleMania is going to bring at this point.
I have a theory, and it's entirely based on if Rollins has to vacate.
Mm-hmm.
I would do this. I would have the qualifying matches over the course of the weeks after the Royal Rumble, and the winner of each match will be in an elimination chamber match to determine for the vacant world champion. If he has to vacate it, that's what I would do.
That's what I would do as well.
But I would not put CM Punk in that match.
No.
I would wait for him for Mania.
Yep.
Now, that he could either win Mania, win a big match, or whatever, because we already have McIntyre and Punk at each other's throats. That's a good alternative for Mania.
Yeah. But again, we just don't know. But that was the first big story, I think, of the week. So let's move on and talk about something a little bit different, and that is the Briscoes.
God.
This was the anniversary of the death of Jade Briscoe. And
so, of course, Tony Khan wants to trout out the family and get all the emotions together, even though they've been shoving this motherfucker down our throats for the last year. He never wrestled a fucking goddamn match on this program, and he is more prominent than Jay Briscoe's brother, and he is the one that's alive.
Than Jay Briscoe's. I mean, that pretty much is what
that's his gimmick. His gimmick is Jay Briscoe's brother. I mean, the kids that you see on the screen are Jay Briscoe's kids.
Right.
Now, I'm glad that they're good. Like, I'm seriously glad that they're fine.
Because this was the family that was injured in the accident.
Yes.
Some of them a little more severely than others. I think the daughter was the most severely injured.
There were two daughters. So one of them couldn't walk for a while.
Right.
Because I guess there was, I'm not sure if it was a leg or a spine thing, but she's walking, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, one of them was hurt a lot worse than the other, and Jay basically went through the windshield and was killed on impact. So wear your seatbelts, kids.
But let's talk about this whole year of Jay Briscoe's passing.
Have to stop. Yeah. This has to stop.
It needs to stop.
I almost want to have a counter on how many times they mention Jay when Mark wrestles, and it's ad nauseum. It's absolutely ad nauseum. And here's going to be my counterpoint to a lot of people saying that I'm having the wrong opinion about this. I want you to take this exact same scenario and put it on WWE television.
Right.
Are you going to have the same reaction to them bringing him up over and over again?
Because here's the thing, too, is you have to remember that during the same year, an active WWE superstar also died.
Bray Wyatt.
And he was even more prominent in television than Jay Briscoe ever was in AEW.
No, Jay Briscoe never wrestled a match in AEW.
That's true.
And here's the thing: we're not trying to play apples to oranges here, but this is literally apples to oranges.
This is a professional wrestling company reacting to the death of an active superstar within their promotion, and you look at the ways in which each person is kind of remembered on that program.
Now, obviously, Bo Dallas is not in this company, but there were.
Well, no, he is. Bo Dallas is in the WWE,
but he's
not an active wrestler within the WWE as of right now. But that's a theory for another.
And guess what, people? If they bring back Uncle Howdy to try to finish the story, I'm going to have the legitimate same complaints,
right?
Because that is an instrumental part of the Bray Wyatt cinematic universe, which was Bray Wyatt. Right. He is no longer here. If Bo Dallas comes back, he has to be back as Bo Dallas.
Yes.
They cannot mention Bray.
No.
Now, he can do like a tribute move or something.
Right.
Totally fine. I don't care.
Right.
But don't bring up Bray when somebody else is wrestling. Don't say, I'm doing this for Bray. Why bother? Right. And here's the thing. Remember in 2005 when they brought up Eddie Guerrero every 8 seconds? It was voted the worst thing in the world. What's different here?
Right.
You know what's different? You know what's fucking different? Where it is. Yeah. If this was in WWE, people would have a fucking complaint about it.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Anyways, let's move on to our next story.
God bless America.
Let's talk about how just god-awful Rampage's matches were. Like, they were some of the most random rinky-dink matches, I think, that you commented on this on Friday, how random the matches were.
I did comment on them. I can't remember if the matches were necessarily bad in ring.
Well, but let's talk about the matches in context.
Okay.
And talk about your reaction to the initial decision when they announced the card for this show, because it is very telling as to what the booking style of Tony Khan is.
I legitimately cannot remember.
Oh, well,
what did I say?
Again, you said, like, look at these matches. These matches are the most random things in the world, and then you wonder why no stories are being told.
Well, you can say that about any company, but it's so obviously in front of it on Rampage.
It is. Rampage, I think, is the worst offender. I get it that Rampage is not the primary show on this. I get that it is a secondary show.
Collision isn't either, but they have stories at the very least.
But this one is a little bit different because I don't know why they even have Rampage anymore.
I don't either. They're getting trounced on SmackDown. They have a show on Saturday. Pick Collision or pick Rampage and get rid of the other one. You're going to save a lot more money. The company lost $34 fucking million last year. And if they continue with these 3 shows bullshit, guess what's going to continuously happen? They're going to continuously lose money.
Right.
And get hurt.
Yeah, because every time you're put into a match, your risk of injury is always there.
And if you're doing multiple matches on the same show, I mean, Darby Allin wrestled where Darby Allin legitimately said he almost broke his fucking neck last week at the Homecoming show. Yeah. Why is he wrestling?
Right.
This guy is taped up like a mummy. It's like almost everybody is.
Yeah.
It's
but again, it's just another symptom of the decisions that are being made at a high level as to how bad the booking is and how there's no reason for any of those matches to have occurred on that card that day.
Absolutely not.
You could have entirely skipped that show and have had no reason to miss anything. Like, you didn't miss anything.
Right.
But I want to talk about that because you did make that comment. Now let's talk about Cora Jade. This poor gal, another major injury. She's going to be out for another 9 months.
Do you remember what her other injury was?
No, I don't remember what.
Because I know she returned.
Yep.
She was back for like 2-3 weeks, and then now I think it's another MCL tear. It's like,
9 months out of action.
Ugh.
This girl cannot catch a break. She is the modern day Tommaso Ciampa when it comes to injury.
I know, and Tommaso Ciampa is still competing at a high level, so I'm not obviously ruling her out. But Tommaso Ciampa had the neck surgery, and I think it was a shoulder injury,
and he was out for 2 good years at that rate, and so. This poor guy.
I know.
No idea. Like the problem with injuries is you can't really build a character when you're injured so much. It's hard to build yourself up. And
I'm not sure what she's doing or whatever, but bitch, you need to stretch or something because clearly you're doing something that is stifling your muscles to where that happens. Now, it could be just accident.
It could have,
I remember this was eons ago, but it was, I think Alex Shelley was out with a torn MCL.
Yeah.
He returns, and literally the match that they had, Chris Sabin gets injured with a torn ACL, and it's like, man, this tag team cannot catch a break. But, I mean, the Cora Jade thing sucks.
It does. It's an unfortunate thing, but it does happen. Now, let's talk about TNA's newest signings, and they've all commented on how happy they were. And I want to kind of put this into perspective because
it feels like a whole new company.
In the past, people were thinking, AEW is where you go to really build your character, really develop your character.
No, but I'd rather go to TNA.
I don't see that anymore. Right. TNA has become the destination for wrestlers who really want that freedom, but they can still develop storylines that mean something.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about it with AEW in the past, but it really just isn't the same AEW that we have anymore.
It's really not. I mean, it sucks, but thank God Ziggler decided not to do that. He's going to do stuff with New Japan. He's going to do stuff with TNA.
Yep.
Perfect.
And like I said, both him and Ash by Elegance, who was Dana Brooke.
I hate that name.
Commented within the last week is how much happier they are now that they're in TNA, and how much they're looking forward to their career now that they're part of this company.
Right. I mean, here's the thing. It's not a super overbloated roster. They have like 1, maybe 2 shows max with Explosion coming back. And it's like you go there for a weekend and wrestle a couple of times, and that's the month, and then you can do whatever. I mean, Ziggler has outside projects that he wants to do. Ash by Elegance has outside projects that you want to do. You have that freedom with a place like TNA. You don't have that freedom like with AEW or WWE.
Right.
You just don't.
I mean, with AEW, you might have a little bit of creative freedom, but if you're booked like a potato chip, then you're not going to get your character across.
Right. You're just not. So I'm happy that Ziggler made this choice. And the same thing with Ash. And it's like the career resurgence has happened within TNA to a very great degree.
Yeah. Career resurgences happen all the time in TNA.
Yeah. I mean, Moose is still with this company. He's a huge right now.
Yeah.
Even within the wrestling world. You have Brian Myers. You have Matt Cardona. I mean, Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people who went through this company who really did great things.
They did some great work.
Gail Kim, Mickey James, for God's sake. So good thing for him. And I think our final one.
Yep, our final one. Obviously, we got to talk about
if he does not go to
Kazuchika
WWE,
Okada.
he's a fucking moron.
Now, obviously, this is not news anymore, but Kazuchika Okada is leaving New Japan after his current contract expires.
I think it ends at the end of February.
And already there have been rumors going around that AEW and WWE are the two in contention right now. And the rumor is, as of right now, that AEW has presented the best first offer.
Okay.
So he has not yet made a decision as of the recording of this video, but we will expect there to be a war, a contract war going on over this individual between WWE and AEW.
Well, I mean, I get it. He's probably one of the biggest stars that New Japan has had.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, we're not even talking about the other guy who's leaving too, Tama Tonga.
Right.
There are a lot of prominent people within New Japan that are leaving.
But Tama Tonga has not been confirmed to it.
Oh no, he's done. He's out.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he already dropped the title. He's gone.
No, but he hasn't confirmed that he's leaving.
No, he already did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When was that?
Like yesterday.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's news to me.
They took him off of their website all of a sudden. There was a huge controversy there, and we all knew that he was leaving after I think New Year's Dash.
But has he confirmed that he is leaving?
Yes, he is. He did a promo and he said, "Yeah, I'm gone." And it's like with Hiroshi Tanahashi's leadership, why are all of these prominent people leaving?
And again, that might be a story for another day, but I did want to talk about this because this was big news out of this week.
If Okada was not a fucking moron, he would go to WWE.
Yep.
And because I'll tell you why. The last person that came from New Japan in a main event role was Jay White.
Yeah.
And now Jay White is playing around with scissoring, and now he is the 6-man tag for a dead brand.
For Ring of Honor, yes.
Yeah, it's for Ring of Honor. It's the most ridiculous thing, and Okada better fucking see that.
Right.
But you never know what they're gonna do.
Right. Anyways, but that's all the news that we have for this week. Let me know what your thoughts are on doing something like this. So the idea is that I'm going to do one big news story. I mean, not like reporting the news, but like giving my opinion on it.
Right.
And then doing a bunch of smaller stories. And I wanted this one to be a little bit longer because, of course, we don't have a main topic. Right. But when we come back, we're going to watch a match together. Yep.